Hey, Motor Man here. I got a couple of tips for you today. Really simple, easy stuff everybody should know. Yeah, it could possibly save your life. So come on, we'll take a little ride and I'll tell you about it. So all right, I'm gonna get right to the point here. There's a couple of things you should know, and one of which is how to swerve to avoid an obstacle. Now I know, I would almost guarantee everybody who's listening says, yeah, I know how to swerve. I do it all the time. Well, in my class, the very first thing we do is practice a swerve. It's a low-speed swerve going through a set of cones, 6 cones in a straight line, 14 feet apart. And I can tell you, almost 99 times out of 100, the first time the rider tries it, they hit a bunch of cones with the back of the bike, usually with the bags. And that's because they've never really practiced a quick swerve before. That swerve left, swerve right quickly. I'm going to demonstrate that to you right now. I'm going to slow down to about 10 miles an hour. I'll use the friction zone, but I don't need any rear brake. This is a quick swerve. I'm actually turning those bars back and forth quickly, getting that bike to lean and dip. This dipping motion the bike does makes every low-speed maneuver you ever perform so much easier. Now we'll pick up some speed, and here's the thing that I see it in my class again all the time. I set up 6 cones in a straight line, 30 feet apart, and I tell the riders to get up to 20 miles per hour and simply weave through the cones. I can tell you that almost every single time, again 99 out of 100 times, a rider will knock down at least one and usually 2 or 3 of the cones. All they're having to do is countersteer through the cones. Quickly, if you're not familiar with countersteering, we're always countersteering a 2-wheel vehicle, but I like to say at low speeds we're handlebar steering because we're consciously turning those handlebars back and forth. But at higher speeds, you simply push on one of the grips. So as I'll show you right here, if I push forward on the left grip, the bike leans left and goes left. If I push forward on the right grip, it leans right and goes right. It's not a push down. It has nothing to do with shifting your weight or body English or whatever you want to call it. To make the motorcycle turn at speed, you got to push forward on one of the grips. So let's try it at 20 miles per hour. Right about 20, I push forward. And again, this has got to be a quick thing. If you're trying to avoid an obstacle out on the road, it better be quick. You better be looking far ahead. If you're looking 50 feet in front of your motorcycle, whatever's there, there's nothing you can do about it. It's way too late. But if you're looking far ahead, you could generally avoid the obstacle or whatever it is that's getting in your way that's causing you to swerve. You can do this at any speed, but it's a quick thing, pushing forward very quickly. Now, to test yourself, well, of course, you could do it on a street or a big parking lot. You could test your swerving skills by doing this, pushing forward on one of the bars, getting that bike to dip and lean. But the best way, really, is get yourself 5 or 6 markers of some sort. I think the little 5 or 6 inch cones that you find at Walmart, perfect for this. 30 feet apart, start at 20 miles an hour and try weaving through them. That's for the higher speed one. To try the low speed one, put them out anywhere from 12 to 14 feet apart. That'll really test your dipping skills. And then the next thing you need to practice, and this again, I see this in my class so many times, is braking quickly from speed. We start at 20 miles per hour, and you can start at any speed you want. We're going to use front and rear brakes. We're going to cover the brakes. So I'm going to make a quick stop here. Well, actually, I'm going 30 miles an hour. Seems very simple, very easy. However, if you've never practiced it, and especially if you have ABS brakes, most people come to my class now have ABS, and they've never actually got into the ABS portion of the brake. That means when you brake, you hear sort of a clicking sound. You might feel a pulsing in the foot brake and in the front brake. That's your hand. But you should know what that sensation is. If you got ABS, you don't want to get on and off the brakes. It's going to screw up the computer. Let's get up a little bit faster here. Just barely into the ABS. I could feel it kicking just a little bit. Sometimes you hear a clicking noise, barely perceptible. But you should know what it feels like to stop quickly from any speed you're likely to ride at. So that's it for now. Just a couple of easy things to practice. You could do it anywhere. Practice your low-speed swerving, your high-speed swerving, and practice stopping quickly. I don't like to call it emergency braking because it shouldn't be an emergency when you have to stop quickly. Call it anything you like, but practice it, especially if you got ABS. It's really a no-brainer. Give me a thumbs up, please. Subscribe. It helps the channel, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget this month's December special. You get the Ride Like a Pro book, the Ride Like a Pro practice guide, and 2 videos on USB so you could plug it into your phone or your computer. You get the Ride Like a Pro Experience video and Surviving the Mean Streets 2 video, all for $59.90. Available at ridelikeapro.com.